Good morning. How is everyone this morning? Good. I know that we have, how many of you love traffic now that school's back in session, all the local K-12 schools? And I know that there was an accident on the Richmond Bridge. There also this morning was a pretty significant fire in the Canal District. So we'll be thinking about the folks affected by that. So hopefully everyone who isn't here will be able to make it here safely shortly. But we're going to go ahead and get started. We do have a guest with us today. We want to be respectful of her time. But it is great to see everyone this morning, preparing for another academic year. I am Jonathan Eldridge, he, him pronouns, and I am honored to be president here at our community's college, College of Marin. And I'd like to start by thanking our dedicated trustees for their service, and we are fortunate to have 4 of them with us today. We have trustees Crystal Martinez, Wandine Trainer, Suzanne Crow, and Paul Da Silva. And this is amazing, but I believe that Trustee Trainer has now been a trustee at the college for, this is her 30th year as a trustee. Thank you for your dedication. I would also like to thank those on the Professional Learning Committee this past spring for their inspiration for today's program and all of Flex Week this year. And a special thank you to everyone planning and facilitating the great Flex sessions. How many of you have enjoyed the Flex sessions you've attended so far? All right. I'd particularly like to thank Mary Kessler and Alyssa Graff and Steve Carrera, the trio that had been doing all of the organizing around this week's activities. Let's give them a big round of applause. And finally, a huge thank you to Jesse Klein, Executive Assistant at the President's Office. I didn't even say yet what we're thanking you for, and people are thanking you. So Jesse is responsible for so much stuff that happens behind the scenes to make everything come together and look good. We have quite a few new employees at the college. And I ask that any of you new employees in the audience stand and stay standing when I call your name. Your cue to sit will be when everyone wildly applauds for you as a group at the end of the introductions. We got that? All right. So apologies in advance if I don't get your names perfectly right. So we have a lot of folks. So new full-time folks since last convocation. So we have a number of folks who have joined us since January of this year. Teodoro Theo Arbolante, Technology Support Specialist 2. Don't see you're all ready. You're supposed to hold. We're going to be here all day. Marcy Bonilla, new Physics and Astronomy instructor. Rebecca Bugas, Administrative Assistant 2 in Allied Health and Nursing. Yushen Nico Chen, ESL instructor. Brandon Christian, Executive Assistant to the Vice President of Human Resources. Eloisa Costa, Administrative Assistant 2 in Student Activities and Advocacy. Laurel Coastal, ESL instructor, who's taught with us before, but now full-time. Nikisha Dyer has moved over to be the Alumni and Centennial Program Coordinator at Advancement. Emily Gable is now a full-time ESL instructor with us. Felina Gapinski, Teely, is now our Organic Farm Program Coordinator, new position. Congratulations. Tessa Logering has moved over to be the Administrative Assistant 3 in Maintenance and Operations. Jeff Markham, many of us know Jeff. Jeff left us for a while, but now he's back. He's back as the Maintenance Electrician. Adelene Addie Maya is a new Staff Accountant. Ifantis Mogeri is Assistive Technology Access Specialist in Student Accessibility Services. Lisa Palella is a new Library Technician 3. Charlie Pan is our new HVAC Building and Control Engineer. Omar Ricks is our new Ethnic Studies and History instructor. Thomas Schneider is a new police officer. Soma Srinivasan is our new data systems research analyst. Wendy St. John is our new full-time biology instructor. Michael Vega is our new locksmith and carpenter, and Carolina Zaragoza is our new campus police services assistant, although also she's an alum, and some of the others of you may be as well. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you very much. Now, lest you thought we were done, we also have a series of new part-time faculty members who are joining us this fall. So I'm going to read their names as well. Huda Al-Jamal in drama, Zoe Anderson in counseling, Wendy Bolke, she's not new to us, but she technically retired and then is back as a part-timer in dental assisting, Kate Brown in human communications, Robin Burton in fire technology and EMT, Kurt Chun also in fire technology, Elizabeth Clear in ESL foundational skills, Adrian Elfenbaum in drama, Anna Frias Bravo, mental health counselor, Joel Gelbud, American Sign Language, Ryan Goodwin, also in fire technology, Bear Grassel, new coach for volleyball, Katara Harris in human communication, Dario Leakum in engineering, Lauren Marai in math, Christian Olmos in English, Kevin Olson in fire technology, Samantha Pechtold in nursing, Alma Renteria in counseling, Malcolm Rogers in drama, Emiria Salzman is our new head women's soccer coach, Omar Sanchez in counseling, Anai Tene in fire technology, Tom Four in English, and Aubrey Wade in nursing. Let's give them a round of applause. So, as you know, I hope you know, we are entering our centennial year at the college, honoring our past and defining our future. This image is part of a painting by Joseph Lee from 1873. And you can see where College Avenue and Sir Francis Drake Avenue will eventually be, as well as the natural flow of Corte Madera Creek and, of course, Mount Tam in the background. The Kentfield Greenbrae Historical Society, led by College of Marin alumni Richard Torney and Mary Gallardi, now owns this painting, which will be displayed on loan in the Academic Center foyer starting this next month. And a big thank you to Chris West for his assistance with this opportunity for us to take a look from the perspective of the painting on the wall at what was here at a time before the college. But Chris has been instrumental with his assistance with this opportunity, and also for bringing this fall's gallery shows of the Legacy of Marin City, a California Black history story, will be joining us in the gallery over here, followed by our own Dwayne Big Eagles artwork on campus. Now, the Historical Society also just procured this original watercolor image of the proposed Marin Junior College, commissioned ahead of the campaign to levy that 15-cent tax increase back in 1925, which passed in the spring of 1926. So as we head into 2026, I would say our campus looks a little bit different in many ways. We don't have that Greek theater by the creek, at least not yet. I mean, I don't know if there's plans for that. I heard something from Lisa Morse, maybe she has ideas. We could put that where the sheriff's substation is, how about that? Our campus looks different, but still we have at our core the commitment as the community's college to welcome everyone in Marin into higher education. Now, I think in this moment, it is important to both reflect on our past and define our future, as well as go about our work on behalf of our students and community in the context of our present reality. And reality in today's world is, let's face it, anything but normal and not at all okay in many ways. And I want to acknowledge and support everyone as we all deal with turmoil and trauma, whether personal, familial, existential, or otherwise. We come to work every day bearing the weight of what's going on in the world and the responsibility we feel toward our students, who are facing the same and often more than we are. And this is why I think it's good to come together and to be together today and in the work we do. Now, of all the things going on in the world today, I'm going to focus my remarks here for a bit on higher education specifically. Because what we do and for whom we do it is being targeted. I'll say it, Project 2025 plainly lays out the plan to undermine higher education in the United States. eliminate the Department of Education, reduce, eliminate, restrict, and attach strings to all forms of federal funds, take control of and change the purpose of accreditation, make unlawful any program designed to support diversity, inclusion, and equitable outcomes, and threaten with financial shakedown any institution that doesn't fall into line. The actions of the current administration are treating what's in Project 2025 as a checklist, and they are busy getting their list done, with more to come. Now, the president of Wesleyan University, Michael Roth, recently said in an interview, "I think it's extraordinarily clear that the Trump administration is hell-bent on destroying civil society, that arena of our culture and our polity that has sources of legitimacy independent of the ideology of whoever's in the White House. You see that in the attack on law firms, the attack on the press, the war on universities and colleges. They are attacking universities because these schools have a claim on our respect that is not founded in the ideology of those currently in the White House." Now, as these attacks progress, they're going to move beyond transgender athletes, the 10 of them in the NCAA, the few others who are out there, and the accreditors' criteria that they're trying to manipulate, into more insidious things like loyalty oaths, which the Department of Education already tried to float this last year in the K-12 arena. They're also going to go after what students can study, and quite frankly, what professors are allowed to teach. It's happening. It's not theoretical at this point. Now, I don't believe these attacks are because higher ed is weak. It's really because we're strong, because we educate and we do good. Now, as to the motives behind all of this, I think Professor Cheney in political science and other faculty in behavioral and social sciences and others are better suited to analyze that, and I'm sure they will with their students in the classroom as well as beyond with all of us as the semester progresses. But this is our reality for the foreseeable future. I don't say this to create fear or even out of pessimism, because I am hopeful. And I think our hope lies, as Arne Duncan, the former Secretary of Education, writes, with total and unrelenting resistance, America's 6,000 colleges and universities need to launch a non-stop effort with students, parents, employers, donors, alumni, and their communities, highlighting the moral and economic threat that we face. Now, that may sound very political, but I would argue it is necessary for us to fulfill our mission and responsibility to our community. I've spoken before at Convocation and elsewhere about how we are stewards of the College of Marin. Stewardship means recognizing and responding to threats and challenges when they arise. Now, at College of Marin, in the face of current national circumstances, we have a lot going for us. And this adds to my optimism. First of all, we're in California. Secondly, we're in Marin. I know from speaking with them that our elected officials are dedicated to protecting our ability to educate students as our faculty see fit, while they work to protect our communities from funding cuts and militarization. Our neighbor, our governor, just down the street here, has certainly found a new voice recently. And our Attorney General is filing and winning court cases to stave off many of the attacks I mentioned. We have a very supportive public in Marin. We have largely local funding, which also works to our advantage. All of that works in our favor. Now, as I noted at the beginning of my remarks, we also have a committed board who this summer passed a resolution signing on to the Bay Area Colleges Mutual Support Compact, joining forces with other colleges to find strength in numbers and a way for us to support those who don't have as much going for them. What else am I optimistic about? Our enrollment is up, and that includes non-credit enrollment, which is largely our ESL students. They want to be with us, they want to be on campus, they want to be together. Our enrollment isn't up just a smidge, it's up significantly. And our outcomes show we're doing right by our students. We're a leader in the state with UC transfer acceptance rate and wage gains in our workforce programs. We contribute $210 million of economic impact locally and regionally on an annual basis. We are not perfect by any means, but what we do is a pretty good return on that 15-cent tax increase Marin County voters approved 100 years ago. All this to say, what we can control in a world that often seems out of control is our fidelity to our mission. And you've heard me say that before. We should not shrink from our mission, rename it, or excuse it. We exist to ensure equitable opportunities and foster success for all members of our diverse community. That's right. We need to keep doing that, promoting that, and proudly sharing that, as Arnie Duncan encourages all higher ed institutions to do, no matter what. Now, our students may be vulnerable to these many attacks and what's going on in the world, but they are not victims. They may very reasonably be scared, but they are bravely showing up, and they need us to help them stay brave by showing up with them. They don't need us to tell them they should be scared. We can validate their feelings while reinforcing their bravery and their desire to be here with their peers and with us. Now, next week, the magic will start anew. We will help nudge, prod, empower, challenge, lift up, assist, and critique our students to think critically, conduct meaningful research, synthesize seemingly disparate ideas, write well, perhaps assisted but not by AI, work together, and envision a new future. Now, faculty will surely do this work in the classroom and beyond. The rest of us can as well, which will make us a truly caring campus. We need to do this work, the mission fidelity, in partnership with those locally who support the students we educate, because their lives are impacted by all of the services, the agencies, the support, the industry, the businesses that employ them and support them in Marin and beyond. As Ruth Bader Ginsburg once said, fight for the things you care about, but do it in a way that will lead others to join you. Now, last fall, we convened over 50 of our community partners, those organizations locally that we work with, we have formal or informal relationships with, to share resources and practice generativity. This fall, we're going to convene them, and hopefully more again, but this time to commit to mutual support and coordination locally in service to our students and community. This is how we will put our strategic plan into practice, how we will become a catalyst for positive community change more than we are already, an even better place to work and grow, and most importantly, be the best place to study and learn. And I would argue this is how we, as Frank Fernandez, Professor of Educational Leadership and Policy Analysis at the University of Wisconsin-Madison writes, rededicate ourselves to a cause that will outlast our careers, a cause worthy of the collective efforts of generations of scholars. We must advance the public good. By improving the public good, we will be relevant, and by being relevant, we will reclaim legitimacy. We must show that we can do what Google and ChatGPT cannot. We can train students to think and to be good citizens. This is how we will fulfill our roles as stewards of this special college, the community's college. Now, our centennial provides a great platform to ensure the community continues to have our back in this good work. We can engage them in gallery shows, as I noted earlier, performances, as you will hear about shortly, lectures, and the series like the Equity is Not a Phase series that the UEI is putting on, and you'll also hear about later today, as well as showcases of student and faculty work, and plenty of celebrations with good vibes. I think we need some good vibes, and our Centennial provides a good opportunity for that. Like Fall Y'all, which will be coming up, and a special Founders Day edition of Spring Fling. We'll have a ribbon cutting, which you'll also hear about, and much more. Now, I am pleased to announce here that we have just been joined in celebrating our centennial and convening the community in important conversations and action by Marin Community Foundation, who will be our premier partner and sponsor, contributing not only significant funding to support our centennial activities, but partnership in catalyzing and accelerating positive community change and protecting Marin from any impending threats. So we are very grateful to be in formal partnership with Marin Community Foundation. You will hear much more about that and some other efforts in the coming weeks. So I would say this, let's choose to celebrate and learn from our history, revel in our success, work together to make ourselves better, and ensure we are what our students continue to need us to be, now and into our next 100 years. A consistent, welcoming, warm, fun, engaging, and challenging community that they need now more than ever. In these anything but normal and very much not okay times, we can make our campuses places of normalcy in the moment, where our students and we can be okay. Now, our keynote address today will engage us in how we go about support and connection with each other and our students. But first, we have information and updates to share: the budget, planning, construction, programs, and more. So to get that portion of our program started, I'm going to invite to the stage Raul Aguilar, our Director of Campus Public Safety and Chief of Police, and he is going to talk about his role and ours in protecting our students from authoritarian threats and actions. Raul?
Thank you, Dr. Eldridge. Thank you very much for that introduction. My name is Raul Aguilar. My pronouns are he, him, and él. I am a proud ESL student, and I want to share with you guys what I'll be doing as the Chief of Police of the College of Marin Police Department. Our commitment to student safety, inclusion, and success during these uncertain times. First of all, I want to clarify and make it very clear that the College of Marin Police Department serves all students regardless of immigration status. Thank you, yes. The College of Marin Police Department does not engage in any immigration enforcement activities. By law and policy, we cannot inquire about a person's immigration status or anything like that. We will not cooperate with any immigration enforcement activities. We will not engage in any operations from a federal government that come to Marin County, and we will definitely not participate in any mass deportations. We will not do that. Our instructors and staff are a vital part of this community college, and we want to make sure that we share this message with all our students. I and the officers are around campus, but all the instructors and the staff interact with our students each and every day. So I would ask you kindly to please share this message with our students, that they do not need to fear our College of Marin Police Department officers. We're here to ensure student success. Now, we need to obviously, as Dr. Eldridge mentioned, the plan of this administration is to sow fear, and we need to fight fear. We need to be prepared. We need to have hope, but we also need to be prepared. In order to be prepared, I'm sharing some information up here. If we ever see any ICE groups or anything like that in your community, in nearby areas or where you live, if you live in Marin County, there is the Marin Rapid Response Network phone number that is available 24/7, and I'm also one of the resources that works with the team of the Marin Rapid Response Network. If you ever see any actual immigration enforcement in our campus, please, the first number you need to call is extension 7500. And then the second one would be the police department, the dispatch number, which is also right there. I would ask you to also review the emergency procedures handbook that's in the classroom. Every classroom, every office has one of them, and it's also available on our website. So please, if you're a new member of the College of Marin, please review those process. Finally, we are navigating a period of significant changes, and we don't know what's going to happen. But I can tell you that my training, my experience, and my uniform helps me convey my authority to any immigration enforcement that may come. Therefore, you may see me wearing a uniform more often than I have in the past. I'm going to conclude by sharing that you will get additional information in the next few days. Please be on the lookout for that. Also, we have new cards that will tell you, again, if there's any on-campus enforcement that you call. It's got a procedure, it's in your packet there, and it's got the information, so please keep that handy with you, and we'll have additional cards available. I want to close by asking for your feedback. If there's something that you still not sure what we can do, how we're gonna be able to respond and keep our students safe, please share that with us. We are the community's college. We wanna make sure that we are in this together, all of us, and we ensure that our students can have a bright future. And with that, I'm going to introduce Vice President Erisa Puig of our Finance and Operations. College Operations, sorry.
Hi. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Convocation. My name is Erisa Puig, and my pronouns are she and her. I learned from Lindsay Bachigalupi. Is she here today? Lindsay, I learned from her that there are about 582 seats in the James Dunn Theater. So I'm just kind of doing a little percentage of how many are here today. A little trivia. Not so long ago, from our spring convocation early this year in January, I shared with you our common goal of how we can help our Plan 2030, defining our future. With our priority goals of being the best place to study and learn, a great place to work and grow, and be that positive catalyst of change in our community. I am happy to share that our Board of Trustees have approved our fiscal year 2025-2026 adoption budget. And so this is a moment of celebration, not for the numbers, but for what they represent. And what they represent is our shared commitment to our college's priorities and our future. Now, there's still a lot of work to do, but our budget will strengthen our student success and our continued growth and excellence all together. Now, I want to thank many who contributed in the process of our budget development. First, our Board of Trustees for always prioritizing the district's long-term financial health. And then I want to thank President Eldridge for his visionary leadership and fiscal stewardship. I want to thank all the budget managers out there and our administrative support staff for always aligning our financial planning with the college's values and mission. Our Planning and Resource Allocation Committee, thank you for that equity-driven approach in aligning our resources and for institutional accountability. And of course, where's my folks, our fiscal services staff, a deep thanks to you for ensuring integrity in our reporting and regulatory compliance. And before I end today, allow me to just share with you some updates from college operations. Our Environmental Action Committee is ready to do the great work of turning our environmental impact mitigation aspirations into actions. And someone special, I'm not sure if Revathi Mashan is here with us today, but Revathi, hi Revathi, welcome and thank you for being here. Revathi Mashan is our new Environmental Sustainability Graduate Fellow, and she will be helping us with our work. I want to take a moment to thank our IT team, folks, with our interim director, Dr. Scott Conrad, Matt Howard, and the entire team. They worked so hard during summer to not only do some upgrades with our core switches for connectivity, better connectivity and Wi-Fi, also our computer equipment refresh projects, and for building and supporting our upcoming new Center for Student Success IT infrastructure. So thank you, IT team. I have big to all of our facilities, planning, maintenance, and operation folks, Klaus, Enzo, the entire team for preparing our classrooms and facilities for the new semester. Thank you to Fiscal Services team for your heavy lift in our prior year's year-end closing, the budget development process, and our annual audit. With our former director, Tony Clark's moving on to serve the Novato Sanitary District, Sam Jackson will serve as our interim director. And thanks to our campus safety and police department for ensuring that both our campuses are safe spaces for everyone to thrive all year long. Last but not the least, thanks to our community programs team for being that glue that connects our college to the community. We have 2 new interim directors in community programs, Lindsay Bachigalupi for the facilities rental side, and Brandon Drake for the community education side. So, thank you all, and I wish you a healthy and fruitful new academic and fiscal year. Thank you. At this point, I would like to introduce our next speaker. She is the newest, but I feel like she's been with us for a long time. And I'm impressed by her ability to remember everyone's names. Our Assistant Superintendent and Vice President of Student Learning and Success, Dr. Dana Emerson.
Good morning. So, remembering everyone's names, now I feel like it's a test. What an appropriate environment to be in for testing. All right. Yes, the eyes. Wait, can I just do this for a second? All right, thank you so much. Yes, I'm trying. It's not Las Vegas Go, Ryan. But I'm trying. I have 5 minutes. I'm gonna try my best. All right, so good morning and welcome to Fall 2025. I am Dana Emerson. Pronouns she and her, and thank you, T, for always reminding us that it is our duty to always model and set the standard for inclusivity. I am the Assistant Superintendent, Vice President of Student Learning and Success here at the college. And it was only a year ago that I joined the College of Marin team. In fact, it was the first day of Flex Week for Fall 2024 on August 12th, which was my first day here. I recall the Friday of that week, and I took a tour of the CSS, and it looked like this. And at that moment, I knew that I was part of a larger project to build our future. In my brief time here, in this moment, my 5 minutes, I want to touch on a few things that are aligned with building our future. First, recruitments. We have experienced a lot of change in this past year in terms of leadership, people moving on to advance their careers, and that leaves some work for us to do. I am here to announce that we are close to concluding a few critical recruitments. 1, the Director of SAS, and 2, the Interim Dean of Math and Science. The second round interviews for the Director of SAS will take place next week, so please come out to the public forums. It would be really nice to see you there and to get your take on our candidates. And I just want to go back and thank a few people moving through that process of that recruitment team. I need to thank Sadiqa Luna, Carl, Xenia, and Melanie for their time, effort, and hard work to getting us to the point where we are actually at the second round interviews. It was a lot of work. For the interim dean of math and science, be on the lookout for an announcement, hopefully Friday, which is probably tomorrow. And with that, I'd like to thank Diane O'Donnelly and Maria Colson for their time, energy, flexibility, and hard work to get us to this point. You have no idea how many days we just locked ourselves in a room and just said we are going to power through this because Dana cannot be the dean of math and science any longer. Next, as Jonathan noted, enrollments are up. Yay. As we saw last year, our credit and non-credit headcounts are up by almost 10% respectively. And as Jonathan also noted, our non-credit ESL students continue to choose College of Marin as they pursue their educational journeys and build their futures. So let me just say something. You can advance the pictures. I'm going to break every rule in public speaking in that the pictures are not going to match what I'm talking about, but I did that on purpose, right? Because it is a progression. So remember, the first picture was from August. This one was from January, and this was also during Flex Week. So that brings me to our CSS updates. As the images behind me are projected, we have come a long way in a year. Like I said, I purposely didn't add a picture from August of 2025 because we are at an incredible point where you can just walk over and see the progress. It's an actual building now. And I hope that you all take the opportunity to come in and participate in that building. I want to thank the departments, programs, and services who will be moving into the Center for Student Success. There are so many, I'm not going to name them all because I only have 5 minutes. But I do want to say that during this past year, you have all been part of multiple discussions to ensure the vision of a space and place designed specifically to engage an integrative approach to serving students. And we are on schedule for the building to be completely operational for January 2026 and be watching out for the ribbon cutting in February of 2026. I also want to note that starting this fall, I will be hosting monthly VP Connect sessions, drop-in office hours at rotating locations around the campus. The purpose of these office hours is to engage and connect with you and to enhance and amplify stronger communication and messaging. Please be on the lookout for dates, times, and locations, and I hope that you will join me in those conversations. I would also like to thank everyone in departments, programs, disciplines, instructional, and service areas that endured significant changes in leadership this past year and rallied to keep things moving forward, and for supporting me and other managers when we stepped in to fill the gaps. I cannot tell you how meaningful it has been to really embrace a collaborative spirit to make sure that we can continue to do the things that we are here to do. Lastly, I'd like to address the current climate of fear and disruption. I generally don't like to get political in these moments. However, I am always reminded that the personal is political. And I would like to offer this. Our positions at the College of Marin afford us many privileges. We should lean into our privilege to create safe spaces for our students and for each other. We should lean into our privilege to seek, access, and share truthful information for those who don't have the privilege to access multiple sources of information, analyze that information for accuracy, and share it without hyperbole. It is our duty as educators to utilize that privilege to share information appropriately and make sure that others have access to that information so that they may share it as well. At this time, I would like to introduce the next speaker, who to me, she's just super phenomenal because she is the woman with the data. So I want to bring up Holly Schaefer.
Thank you, Dr. Emerson. That feels like big shoes to fill. I'm not going to talk about data today, though. Collective sigh of relief. Today I'm talking about Plan 2030. So over the past year, our Educational Planning Committee has been hard at work developing Plan 2030, Defining Our Future, which is our next 5-year educational master plan and strategic plan. So this plan is going to look a little bit different than the way we've done it in the past. We're also taking a different approach to how we implement this plan. So most of you are already familiar with our 3 big priorities, the ones you see behind us on the screen. Be the best place to study and learn, be a great place to work and grow, and be a catalyst for positive community change. So these came out of our campus-wide conversations that we had over the past year. And in September, we'll be releasing the final plan, which will include 10 goals that we'll be working on over the 5 years. So yes, there's only 10 goals this time. And we kept these goals broad on purpose. That way, they're relevant to every area of the college. They give us a shared direction, and they encompass all of our work. So every person in this room has a role to play in aligning their work with our priorities and in reaching across departments and areas of the college to make progress towards our goals. So as Dr. Eldridge alluded to earlier, we're all stewards of this college. We're all stewards of this plan. So let's think about then, how can you in your work make COM the best place to study and learn? Well, one of our goals in this new plan is to build a faculty learning community to support innovative, equity-minded teaching practices. So you'll be able to visit our new Professional Learning and Development Center, for example, and collaborate with other faculty on building culturally responsive pedagogy. Another goal is to enhance our student experience. So can I see a show of hands? How many of you are familiar with our Caring Campus initiative? Most of you, great. So that's going to be one way. Everybody here can adopt the Caring Campus practices and create a more welcoming environment for our students. You can wear your name badge. You can greet students when you see them. You can ask students who look like they need help how you can assist. That creates a more welcoming environment for students on our campus, and it's something we can all participate in. So how can you make COM a great place to work and grow? Well, one of our goals is to cultivate a culture of engagement and collaboration. So let me see another show of hands. How many of you out there are currently serving on a participatory governance committee, a PGS committee? Quite a few of you. Okay. So for those of you who are not currently serving on a committee, that's a great way to get involved and engage in making important decisions for our college community. So after Convocation, we'll be having an engagement fair outside, and I'll be one of the people who will be sitting at the Participatory Governance Committee's group, the PGS system. We'll have lots of information. Come and ask us about how you can get involved. There's a committee for you, I promise. There's something that you'll be interested in. And so we're really trying to get people to volunteer and really make sure that there are no vacancies on our participatory governance committees in the next 5 years. Another one of our goals is to expand professional growth opportunities for staff. We're also going to be providing more activities that nurture employee connection and well-being and engagement. So there will be plenty of ways for folks to get involved. Okay. Finally, how can we help make COM a catalyst for positive community change? Well, so one of our goals is to reduce our environmental impact on our campus and in our community. So as Vice President Putsch mentioned, we now have a new environmental action committee. So again, I encourage folks to stop by the PGS table after Convocation and find out how you can get involved. We'll also be providing over the next 5 years many new opportunities to educate students and employees on ways to reduce our environmental impact on our campus and in our community. So as we roll out this plan, please remember our success in reaching our goals is a collective effort. Okay? I will just close with a quote from Dr. Eldridge via FDR. Ask not what your strategic plan can do for you, but what you can do for your strategic plan. Thank you, everyone. So next up is Nicole Cruz, our Director of Marketing and Communications Extraordinaire, and she will be talking to you about our exciting plans for our centennial year.
Thank you so much, Dr. Schaefer, and welcome to our centennial year. Let's hear it for that! On April 6th of next year, COM turns 100, and throughout this academic year, we're going to be celebrating with a variety of events and activities. And to mark that milestone, we've refreshed our institutional logo, and we've also created centennial logos and brought 3 new color palettes into our institutional brand. And so we want this year's marketing materials to stand out and be very vibrant and celebratory. So please make sure that you are putting your graphic design requests in so that we can get the appropriate colors and logos applied to it. And I want to give a huge shout out to our marketing and communications team. We've had a very, very busy past couple of weeks getting ready for the semester. So we've got Jesse Harbison, Mike Klein, Albert So, Malika Smith, and Roger Dorman as part of our team. So last week, Marcom offered a pre-flex session titled Logopalooza, Com's Brand Refresh, and Centennial Visual Identity. If you weren't able to make it, the recording should be available on the Convocation page on Tuesday, August 26th. And in just under an hour, we covered our new unified visual identity and how you all can get access to the assets. So hopefully you'll check that out, and if you would like to come and engage with us at the engagement fair after, we've got the brand guidelines there and lots of information and stickers with our new identity. And we are in the process of creating new name tags for employees. You remember the black and gold ones? We want to make sure that they are bringing some of that color and vibrancy into the name tags and also are easier to read. So in the meantime, we've got these buttons, which we'll have at our engagement fair table, a whole bunch of colors of Sharpies. You can write your name on it, and then we will be sending out, hopefully very soon, proofs of everybody's names so that we can get the name tags in production. And mark your calendars for Saturday, October 11th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Indian Valley campus. We are going to kick off our centennial events with the IVC Showcase. And that's going to spotlight our career, technical, and allied health programs and celebrate with free food, music, and activities. And I'm going to shout out again those planning subcommittee members because as the first ones up, they have really been laying the groundwork and figuring out how things are going to move forward with other events. Alina Verona, Angela Olmanson, Ron Palmer, Keith Rosenthal, Malika Smith, Seth Courtwright, Lindsay Bachagalupi, Nikisha Dyer, Julian Solis, Tanya Paredes, Heather Rahman, Angela Lingo, Wendy Belke, and partner from the Marin County Office of Education, Jesse Madsen. So you all again to come and see us at the engagement fair after. And with that, I will introduce the fabulous Dr. Colleen Myhall, Umoja Equity Institute Professional Learning Facilitator and Chair of our Communication Department. Thank you.
Hello everybody, my name is Colleen Myhall, my pronouns are she, hers, and I'm here today representing the Umoja Equity Institute, or the UEI. The UEI was founded in 2020 under the leadership of Dr. Kuhn, Dr. Eldridge, and the Board of Trustees. This past year, we were fortunate to welcome Dr. Emerson as steadfast supporter and thought leader in this work. The photo on this slide is actually the first UEI facilitated convocation when we had Track the Vote, visit the College of Marin. The UEI is a faculty-led project. The names you see on this slide only tell a partial story, as collaboration is at the very heart of everything that we do. The success of our work is made possible through the support of departments, programs, and staff across campus. So thank you to all of you that have showed up, that have pitched in, and that have led the work that we've done together. So the UEI is built on 4 pillars, and this is how we organize our work. Education initiatives, equity and mental health, district and community partnerships, and student leadership development. This fall, we are relaunching the Equity is Not a Phase workshops, and it aligns with Dr. Schaefer's Plan 2030 that she was just speaking on. And the phrase equity is not a phase comes from Dr. Pedro Negura when he came to the College of Marin in spring 2023. In his convocation speech, he said, equity is not a phase. And equity is not a phase at the College of Marin. As Dr. Eldridge said, we remain courageous and as committed as ever to the principles of equity and racial justice. The workshop series, and I'll skip to the dates here so you can take a look at that. The workshop series will help us navigate this political and cultural moment, addressing fascist threats to democracy, academic freedom, and higher education, the ongoing genocide in Gaza, as well as understanding changing student needs. This will be a time for comm employees to come together, reflect, and learn from each other and just talk, because we often don't have that opportunity to talk about the things that are weighing on us and we know are impacting our students. So, all the sessions this fall semester will take place during community hour. There'll be an AC 255, and you can sign up on Pro Learning. You can get flex credit, all the things. And each of these sessions is going to be facilitated and led by a different fabulous equity leader here on campus. The topics and dates we have selected: September 17th, curriculum is resistance, and this is all employees can participate in curriculum development. We'd love to see you there. October 15th, immigration and student safety. November 19th, student experiences in unjust times. And on December 10th, our Common Ground Political Action Group is going to facilitate a session. If you'd like to share an idea, there's something you want to talk about, you're interested in facilitating or working with the UEI, reach out to any of us, or you can email us at emoja@marin.edu. We love partnering with people. And here's the UEI coordinator, Professor Walter Turner, during the Emoja Learning Community trip to Ghana last August. And I just must say, in January of this year, Professor Turner won the first ever statewide award for Full-Time Faculty of the Year at the Black Educator Excellence Awards. So let's give it up. And this is actually, he studied here at the University of Ghana, so he's standing outside the dorm he attended. And we'll close with an African proverb like we often do in our Emoja meetings. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. We hope you'll join us this fall. And I'm very excited to introduce my Arts and Humanities colleagues, Dr. Jim Stouffer, Chair of Music, Dr. Lisa Morse, Chair of Drama, and Dr. Aaron Africa, Drama.
Good morning. Please raise your hand if you enjoy singing in the shower or in the car. Please raise your hand if you've ever played a musical instrument, even if that means it's been since 7th grade that you touched a clarinet. So congratulations, you're all musicians and you're all welcome in COM's music program. So what can music offer to you? Well, it engages your mind, your body, and your emotional core. It allows you to connect with great works of art on a regular basis. And as you can see in this photo, it can provide you a vital sense of community. Now, if you're feeling a little bit rusty, no worries. We've got you covered with a bunch of introductory classes that can get your chops back up in no time. And if you're already itching to perform with others, we have auditions coming up for our vocal and instrumental ensembles. So take a moment and point your phone at that QR code. And once you log in, you'll see our webpage and you can select whatever option interests you most. So thank you so much and we hope to see you around this building.
I'm Dr. Lisa Morris. My pronouns are she, her. And I also was going to ask for a show of hands. How many of you have seen a show, whether it's a concert or a show? Okay, wonderful. For those of you who haven't yet, let this year be the year you decide to come and join the performing arts community. Seeing a show is not just about being entertained, educated, and challenged. When you come to see one of our productions, you're supporting our students and our student success. They're developing skills and learning how to do their craft, and they need you. They need an audience. So please come and join us. And with that, we'll tell you a little bit about our season.
Welcome to my classroom. The first show up of the season I had auditions for last night in this very room. And it is called The Love of the Nightingale. It's playing the first 3 weekends of October. It is free to attend, and a little snippet about the play. It is a powerful feminist retelling of the ancient Greek myth of Philomel. The play explores themes of gender-based violence and the consequences of unchecked power. Timely. The play uses poetic language, beautiful theatrical devices, puppets, masks, cool transformations, and uses it to highlight the brutality of the violence and the societal structures that enable it.
I'm up for show number 2. Get ready for a slice of life with the musical adaptation of Mystic Pizza. It follows 3 working-class BFFs navigating the chaotic world of love, family, and finding themselves in a small pizza joint. Expect runaway brides, secret sauces, and the perfect 1980s soundtrack for belting out your innermost feelings.
Lisa has back-to-back shows.
The next show is Dream House. 2 Latina sisters on an HGTV show try to flip their family home, but end up flipping out. It is a comic, surreal dive into family secrets, gentrification, and the painful question of what you'll really be willing to sell for a dream home.
And the last show of our season, which is in our small theater across the hall, is called Men on Boats. It's actually playing in May. During our Centennial Week, we will have performances. Men on Boats is a witty and subversive play that reimagines the true story of John Wesley Powell's 1869 expedition down the Colorado River with one major twist. The play asks for a cast of women, trans, and non-binary performers in the role of the rugged frontiersman, challenging traditional narratives of American exploration, heroism, and manifest destiny. And it's a lot of fun.
And lastly, on November 1st at 7 p.m., the dance program will rock the house with a show created, choreographed, and directed by David Jones called Tribe. We hope you can make it to our dance concert. We will be out on the plaza after Convocation, answer any questions that you have about our shows or our productions. And Jim, close us out.
And we will turn things over now to COM's Faculty Professional Learning Coordinator, Steve Carrera.
Thank you, everybody. My name is Steve Carrera. I am the full-time faculty kinesiology instructor as well as the new flex coordinator. I wanted to first start off by thanking Kara Kright, who I took over for for all of her amazing guidance and availability. She answered every question I had, and so thank you, Kara, for your help and guidance. I also wanted to express gratitude to Alyssa Graff for her collaboration, her help, and of course Mary Kessler for just helping me with everything, really. So thank you very much, Mary. I have the honor of introducing our speaker today. As you know, or as you have seen in the program, our speaker is Elaine Lynn Herring. She's a writer, facilitator, and speaker. She's a former managing partner at a global leadership development firm and is the author of the USA Today best-selling book, Unlearning Silence: How to Speak Your Mind, Unleash Talent, and Live More Fully. I want to start with a moment from Elaine's book. She tells the story of Patricia, the lone woman on an executive team who's told she's too emotional and too scattered, until she stops speaking up. At work and at home, the message becomes the same. What you're doing isn't enough. Over time, silence sets in and self-doubt follows. As Elaine writes, consistently being diminished and dismissed means that we forget that we are worthy of respect, dignity, belonging, and love. Elaine's life work is helping us unlearn that silence, turning conflict into conversation and conversation into leadership. She served as a lecturer on law at Harvard Law School, taught negotiation and mediation at Monash Law School in Melbourne, and has led executive education for programs at Harvard, Dartmouth, Tufts, UC Berkeley, and UCLA. She holds a JD from Harvard Law and dual BAs in political science and music from UC Berkeley. Please join me in giving a warm College of Marin welcome to the author of Unlearning Silence, Elaine Lynn Herring.
Well, Steve left off perhaps the most important part of this, which is that I am also a product of Diablo Valley College. And thank you so much for having me here. I'm so thrilled to be with you. I want to audition for some of these shows. I want to rock out to a 1980s soundtrack. So you might not be able to get rid of me, so thank you for having me. That's the liability of inviting someone into the comm community. Now, if we are going to be the best place to study and learn, if we are going to be a positive catalyst for the community, if we want to be an even better place to work and to grow. You know, it sounds like it's Convocation. Dr. Eldred said we're going to have good vibes. That's important, and it's not going to get us there. So I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but apparently people who go to law school are the ones who have these difficult conversations. Any other legally trained people in this room? Yeah, you're not actually disclosing your identity because you don't want to be tagged as that person. I want to talk about silence. Because we can talk about collaboration. We have an incredible Plan 2030. We have shows. We have a new building that has internet. Thank you, IT team. And the thing that's going to get in the way, the thing that's in the environment that our administration is also trying to implement on our campus and in our community and in our world is silence. By silence, I don't mean that meditative pause between stimulus and response, or that quiet moment on your yoga mat that maybe some of you had this morning and some of us are wishing we had. By silence, I mean when there's not enough room in the conversation, on the team, for your needs, goals, hopes, and concerns. When you had a brilliant idea, but the conversation moved on, or maybe you said it, and everyone acted as if you didn't say, and did I actually say that out loud? Some of you are nodding, so apparently it's not just me. My own background is I'm the youngest daughter of an immigrant family from Taiwan to the United States. I share that because in my family of origin, as the youngest daughter, well, I'm not quite as important as my older brother. Okay, apparently, again, you all come from my family. I thought it was just me. And as I taught skills for how to negotiate, how to have difficult conversations, how to navigate conflict around the world on 6 continents across industries, I noticed that despite the frameworks that I was teaching out of the Harvard Negotiation Project, some people still wouldn't negotiate. Some people still wouldn't collaborate. Some people still wouldn't have the difficult conversations, no matter how much their manager or HR, where's HR? Told them they should. So HR, I'm trying to make your job easier here. Right? So then it begs the question, what gives? And what gives is silence. Because somewhere along the way, we were told, we picked up messages that our voices don't matter, or don't matter as much as the next person's, that our ideas might not be as important. And if I've picked up anything from the last 45 minutes in this room, it's that College of Marin would not exist, would not be able to fill its mission without every single person in this room. Right? Whether you are on facilities, whether you are on faculty, whether this is your first convocation, whether you're like Professor Turner and this is apparently your 50th convocation. College Marin this next year will not be what it needs to be and what it could be without you. So today we're gonna unpack silence, try to solve for it, leave with some tangible tools for you to experiment with, all right? All right, so silence. We're gonna start with an exercise, and as we do this exercise, I wanna be eminently clear that I am not Oprah, in case it was not already clear. I don't have a fit check like Dr. Emerson. But we're gonna do a couple of series of would you say something if? Hypotheticals. If you would say something, you're gonna raise your hand. Those of you who don't quite trust that I'm not Oprah yet, I see you looking under your seat to see if you want a car. I haven't planted anything, but maybe Jesse's team has. So give her credit for it. All right, here we go. You are no longer in Marin. You are in Washington, D.C. And because it's Washington, D.C., it's a complicated time there. It's in Washington, D.C., but it also means that the subway trains don't always run on time. So you are trying to get somewhere to meet someone important to you. You want to make a good impression. There's certain ways of how we stand or operate on escalators, yes? Says so on the screen, stand on the right. So if you've got plenty of time, you don't want to burn in your calf, you'll stand on the right. Now, because you're running a little late, you're going up the left side of the escalator, the fast lane. You're making your way up until someone's just standing there in front of you on their device, AirPods in. You all know these people. Would you say something? If so, raise your hand. Okay. And some of you are like, I'm waving my hand. I'm already making the motions. All right, you get 30 seconds. Turn to the person next to you. Describe whether or not you would say something. There's no right or wrong answer here. And if you're going to say something, what does it look or sound like? 30 seconds, go. All right. Let me pause you there. Now, the beautiful thing about life is that the phrase, actions speak louder than words, rings true even in this room. So apparently there are some of you who are tappers. You know who you are, trustee. Then some of you are the, I'm gonna go by you on the side pushers, shall we call you? Then some of you, the dive motion. Right, apparently we're not gonna make conversation or contact, we're just gonna let our bodies do the speaking. And some of you, I imagine, are thinking, you know what, it's not worth it. By the way, there's those of you who are like, I wouldn't be in this situation because I planned ahead and I always operate with margin. I see you right there. And you're judging the rest of us, thank you. No right or wrong answers. I can also imagine some of you saying, look, it's just not worth it to me. No one seems to really be well in this world right now. I don't know how they're gonna react. They're taller than me, or as trained as a lawyer, my favorite answer, it depends. Okay, there are a lot of you. Critical thinking, we value that here, therefore it depends. Right? It depends on who they are, what visible or apparent identities they have, the physicality of it. Am I looking up? Am I looking down? How much of the escalator are they taking care of or taking up space? Yeah, no right or wrong answers, just want you to notice. All right, now, College of the Marin, you're going out to dinner. I noticed the steakhouse on the drive-in. It's a nice restaurant, yes? Bon Air. All right, you're there. College of Marin is paying because your team just completed a significant milestone. By the way, Dr. Edwards, don't hold me to this. Someone's like, she said we're going out to dinner together. Talking off the record, this is a hypothetical. Take it up with your leadership. So you're out to dinner because you completed a significant milestone on a project. All right, so it's a team dinner to celebrate. The food comes. You're a pescatarian, so you went with the fish option. Looks pretty good. You take a bite, and it is overly salted to the point of being inedible. Would you say something? If so, raise your hand. Oh, there's a deep groan, and so many it depends in this room. You get 40 seconds with the person next to you. Discuss, and we'll pick it up from there. Would you say something? Who would you say it to? Go. Some of you are like, the escalator doesn't matter so much. But if you mess with my food, you know who you are. So some of you, you're gonna talk to the server, but by the way, you're gonna be polite about it. Am I correct? Yes? I'm sorry. Is this maybe a little inquiry? Is this how the chef intended the dish to come out? By the way, if you ask that, is that a real question? No, thank you. It's like your teenage daughter's leaving the house and you say, are you really gonna wear that? We all know the answer. Some of you are saying, I'm not gonna talk to the server because I don't wanna be disruptive. By the way, it's a team dinner. I don't wanna interrupt the flow. My manager's gonna judge me. Some of you will say something to the person next to you to say, hey, does your food taste okay? And they're like, yeah. You're like, oh, shoot. Some of you know the people on your teams who are the ones who will always say something. Yes? And so they'll do the dirty work for you. And so you talk to, I don't know, let's give that person a name. Jane. And Jane will flag down the server. Some of us have worked in food service and we know what happens when the food goes back. Yes. And some of you are not gonna say anything, but you're gonna go home and write a scathing Yelp review. You all know who you are. And this is the pickle, right? This is the pickle of the chef and the restaurant actually need to know if the food's not up to par. We call that feedback. But I might be worried about the social dynamics of, am I interrupting the flow of the celebration? What are people going to think? By the way, we've now just, I won't say wasted, but we've spent 5 minutes of your life analyzing a situation that you probably don't sit around analyzing. And this is exactly my point. Whether it's going up the escalator, whether it is ordering food in a restaurant, whether it is in a meeting with your colleagues and that cross-discipline collaboration that we know we need, there's always a choice. Always a moment of, do I say something now or do I not? Do I bite my tongue? Do I rock the boat? Do I express a difference of opinion or not? And each of those choices leads us either to building a culture of voice, which when I read Plan 2030 seems to be what you want to build. A culture where all voices matter, where differences of perspective are aired, where people can speak up and share their perspectives, and we know that we are better going forward together? Are we building a culture of voice? Or are we building a culture of silence, where we have to bite our tongue to keep the peace, to not rock the boat? But also what's missed in that silence, right? That added perspective, that missing piece of the puzzle, the layered complexity that makes comm great. Now, it's not just about you, because of course, silence breeds silence. Particularly, we had 40 or so new people stand up here today, and they, anytime we walk into a new environment, it is human nature to look around and look and observe and say, how do things work around here? We know what's in the PDF. We know what's on the deck. We know what Dr. Eldridge and others have said from stage. But how do things actually work here at College of Marin? Do we actually value each other's perspectives? Do we actually speak up? And if not, if I don't see evidence of that behavior, I don't have the data in front of me, then I very naturally draw the conclusion, I guess we don't do that around here. No matter how much the comms team worked on the plan and on the language. It ends up with empty promises, and silence breeding silence leads to what organizational psychologists call employee silence and organizational silence, the collective phenomenon of saying nothing. Because it's not safe, because it doesn't seem like it matters, because it seems like it won't make a difference. Now, in the little bit of time that I've been here, maybe I'll have a deeper understanding when I join the cast of one of the future plays. But the little bit of time I've been here, the care in this community and on this campus is palpable. The immense giftings from all different perspectives are also palpable. We need each one of your voices here to bring this vision to life. That this is not only a great place for students and the community, but also for each of us to work and grow. And the choice is ours. I'm going to spend the rest of our time together looking at 3 levers for voice. For those of you who are nerdy like me and academic, this comes out of my work as a mediator at the Harvard Mediation Project. So this idea that every negotiation is actually 3 negotiations. You're negotiating the substance, the terms and conditions, you're negotiating your relationship, how people feel treated, and you're negotiating the process. How are we going about it? It also gives us the insight that each of these 3 things are levers for voice, for cultivating that community, that culture, that the substance is the what of what we're talking about. The budgets, the timelines, the what's gonna go in curriculum, what's not, what's in that pedagogy that might be more equity-minded and equity-centered. Relationship is the who. Let me ask you, who here has someone in their life where there's just a little bit more friction, shall we say, than you would prefer? Okay. And maybe you came to work to escape them, because they're at home. That friction in the relationship, does it make you more or less likely to want to work with them? Less. Relationship matters, right? How we're treated, intentionally or not, substantially alters the substance, the what, the outcomes, the results. Now, we have substance, the what, relationship, the who. Process is like the ugly stepchild, the how, but incredibly powerful, so we'll get there too, all right? So here we go, we've got 3 levers. I went to law school intending to be a litigator. To my mother's chagrin, I didn't actually end up practicing as a litigator, so therefore I have failed in life. Let's just be clear about the narratives. We'll still work on that relationship. I ended up falling into leadership development, focusing on how do we communicate with each other. Turns out we don't usually learn that in school, and we figure it out later by trial and error in the workplace, to the pain and the sleepless nights and the high blood pressure of ourselves and the people around us. I later became the first non-white partner in a global leadership development firm, and the first Asian or Asian American senior faculty member on the Harvard Law negotiation teaching team. I say all of that, thank you, I'm still embracing the experiences I've had. I say all of that because I didn't actually believe I had a voice. I spent my career propagating other people's ideas. I made a career of what I thought was being really good at imitating other people. And the environments I were in were predominantly white. So when we got criticism that the Ivy League was really white, they would say, you know, who's really great? Elaine. And when the speaker lineup was too male dominant, they'd say, you know who we know who would be fantastic? Elaine. And so I internalized a message from being tokenized that all I was good for was to check the box. That it wasn't that I had inherent value or experiences. And then I stepped aside and I thought, you know, if all you need is a woman, there's several billion of us in the world. You need an Asian or Asian American? I don't know, what are we, tens, hundreds of millions? But if you need someone who has been trained as a mediator, who can hold space for difference, who has worked across cultures, across geographies, who can have credibility both with Marines and with psychologists, someone who has a background in music and understands that harmony comes from the layered addition of different melodies and chords, and that there can be harmony after dissonance, it narrows as to who might be able to do that. And that I, in my uniqueness and my experiences, those different identities that were once felt like they were held against me, might actually be the leverage and the superpower that I needed. And I wonder if that's true of you, where you might be fitting into one narrow definition of who you might be and the perspective you might offer. You're the new person. You're the environmental person. You're the long-standing, calm veteran. You are the faculty member. You are the facilities person. Whatever it is, each of us are more than just one identity, which also means we have more than one lens. And the test of the culture we're building is, can we say, hey, I see it differently, right? Someone has an opinion, and instead of someone expressing a different opinion that feels like conflict, it's actually the layering and complexity that allows us to see the world in multicolor rather than in grayscale. So one phrase would be, I see it differently. Another would be from where I sit, right? From where I sit in IT, from where I sit on the front lines with students. That timeline or that plan doesn't make sense. Many of us are hesitant to own our voices, own our perspectives, because we are really smart and because we can anticipate the rebuttal, right? But you don't know about this. What about that? From where I sit allows you to own the legitimacy and the limitation of your own perspective. From where I sit also naturally begs the question, what does it look like from where you sit? On the other campus, on the other side of campus. Student-facing, not student-facing, looking at the spreadsheet, not looking at the spreadsheet. Right? We need all of those perspectives to see the world more clearly and make better decisions going forward. I see it differently from where I sit. In your programs, you have some prompts, which is to say, what are 5 lenses of the world that you, and you only, might have? Are you a first-generation student? Are you a COM alum? Are you someone new to California? Are you someone steeped in the numbers and in finance? Are you keeping an eye on capacity? There's a place for you. We've got a list of 5 numbers and there's big blanks next to them. So I'm going to invite you to take 2 minutes now, if you've got a pen, to jot down what are 5 phrases that highlight your unique identity. If I had Jeopardy music, I would play it now. Go ahead and jot those down, and then we'll take the next step together. I love that some of you have already taken the next step. You're such overachievers. Which is, if by this time you found a pen, fantastic. If you haven't, don't worry about it. You can spitball this out. But you've got an idea of what are the things. I'm looking at it from a finance perspective. I'm looking at it from the perspective of a former student. I'm looking at it from someone new to campus. I'm looking at it with fresh eyes. I'm looking at it with 2 decades of experience here in the community, or putting on my community. Whatever it is, we've all got a different lens of the world. And using these phrases helps the other person hear us more clearly and contextualize where we're coming from. I want to invite you to turn to someone next to you. And by the way, if you're already sick of the person you've been talking with, turn the other way. Turn backwards. Turn forwards. That's the beauty of theater seating. And it's not personal. She told us to, okay? Go ahead and share your phrases. Number 1. By the way, if you don't yet know each other, introduce yourselves. Share your phrases. And before you go, react to them. What's missing? What surprised you? Go for it. Let me pause you there in a way that I really dislike doing. And you'll notice, if you're a linguist or nitpicky about language like I am, that I'm intentionally saying I'm going to pause you there, because I hope you continue these conversations. I hope it's what you talk about as you're getting round 3 of coffee later, or when you're soaking in the sunshine, both to get to know one another better, also to be able to build your teams. And if you're not sitting with the people you work with regularly, you might pick up this conversation in your next team meeting to get a better sense of where are we all coming from, right? And what perspectives do we represent? What might we learn from one another? But to the extent that you're like me, and you might wonder whether you have anything to offer, I hope both the from where I sit, right? No one sits in the same seat, wears the same shoes as you do. If you do not offer your perspective, the world, the people around you is missing out. They're missing out. And leaders cannot make sound decisions without those different perspectives. So add by saying I see it differently. Add by saying from where I sit. Add by saying as a first gen, or as a former student, or as someone new to California, whatever it is. Don't let what might feel like a liability end up holding you back. Because what feels like a liability is actually particularly what adds value. All right, that's substance. Own the substance that you've got. We got to talk about the less sexy stepchild, because it matters. Process. How we work together matters. The reality is that if we're not actively designing the way that we communicate, those patterns that we fall into, we default to the patterns and preferences of the people with the most organizational or institutional power, or the people who have been there longest. Now, Dr. Emerson mentioned some turnover, which also means the people who started that 9 a.m. meeting on Fridays, they may have been like 3 directors ago. And now everybody's thinking, this is such a waste of time. We hate this meeting. It could have been an email, right? There's a GIF that says so. You all know which one I'm talking about, right? But if we don't stop to interrogate why we're doing it and the implications that those choices have, we continue to perpetuate it in ways that incline people to silence, because we don't want to rock the boat or be disrespectful to the person who started it, which, by the way, they're at like 3 different colleges, or now they're running a small artisanal bakery with really good cinnamon buns. The secret is cardamom. I don't know why I'm sharing secrets of other people's bakery baked goods from stage, but now you know. I want to highlight a couple of different ways that we as human beings are different. Because each of these that you see here on the screen and that are little check boxes in your program are decision nodes. They're process choices that either make it easier or harder for someone to share their best thoughts, insights, and expertise. Who here is a morning person? Raise your hand. Okay, now we know who's not. All right, so those of you were up at 5 a.m. this morning, you probably ran a half marathon, you were making the rest of us feel bad about ourselves. I was on a virtual session the other day with someone who's running his 43rd marathon. Again, I respect and commend you, I am not you. Okay, so we've got morning people. right? You're clearest in the morning, power hour. A lot of the world is structured around this. Who here, and I heard you verbally, who here is a night owl? Yeah, evening, quiet, that is your power hour. You love it, 9 p.m. Now, I've asked this question to enough groups that I know I have to ask it. Who here midday is actually your power hour? Yeah, okay, there was no hesitation right in the middle of the room. By the way, let's look around, you're waving. I love it, let people know. Right, as a bona fide morning person, there's a couple, and there's actually, looking from the stage, about 16 of you who midday is your finest hour. Morning people, are you as shocked as I am? Yeah, right, they call it the post-lunch slump for a reason. That's siesta time. How could someone possibly have their best thoughts at that time? That instinctively, that's what we do, because if we're not intentional, we naturally assume that people are wired like us. Now, I want to be really clear, this is personal for me, because I mentioned I'm a morning person. Love the quiet mornings. It's unfortunate that my 7-year-old also turned out to be a morning person, so we're working through that. My spouse is a bona fide night owl. I have learned the hard way not to raise serious topics with him before noon. And he knows that if he raises something at 9 p.m., I'm half asleep. Not great either. I start to go downhill about 1 p.m., post-lunch slump. So we basically have between noon and 1 o'clock. I'm not even joking. To talk about serious issues like financial planning. We will somehow, by the grace of God, celebrate 10 years of marriage in January. Thank you. We haven't made it there yet, so status updates to come. But because of that noon to 1 p.m. hour, right, when we choose to have the meeting matters, because some people, until the afternoon, not so great. That's not to say you can never have 9 a.m. meetings, because now I see some of you yawning, right? We're getting there, we're getting to lunch. Post-lunch summit's coming. That's why I asked for a morning slot. Just half kidding. The time of day matters, right? It's not net neutral. And the question is, how do we optimize for voice? Do we know our teammates, our cross-functional, cross-department collaborations, what makes it easiest in terms of time of day for them to bring their best thoughts, insights, and expertise? Medium, are we typing? Are we talking? Are we texting? Are we on Teams? Are we messaging? Are we emailing? Are we tweeting? I don't know, smoke signals now. Right? There are so many different mediums, some of which are easier or harder for everyone. Everyone's different. Who here, it is easiest for you, or easier for you to express your thoughts by typing rather than talking? Raise your hand. Okay, by the way, look around the room. There's no right or wrong here, it's just, it is. Who here, it is easier for you to talk? Notice how I asked you to raise your hand rather than talk, even though that would be praying to your strengths. Love that, great. And maybe it depends, right? It depends at work versus at home, what the subject is. I love a good it depends, but notice that. Location, which campus are we on? Are we in your office, my office? Are we walking? Are we face to face? Are we on the phone? Are we on video off, video on? Group size, anytime there are more people, there is greater social threat. Right? Our brains are scanning for what will that person think, or that person think, or that person think, and therefore it tends to be easier to say things in a smaller group or a one-on-one rather than, here, take the stage in front of whatever 500 seats minus the net amount of people here is today. Processing style is my favorite because it is one that we don't talk a whole lot about, but one that is so integral to whether we have the fastest ideas and loudest ideas or the best ideas. Who here has ever sat in a meeting, you can't quite figure out what to say, but 20 minutes after the meeting you're like, oh. Okay, there was a deep groan somewhere up here. I'm not gonna make eye contact with anyone, lots of you. Okay, congratulations, welcome to being a post-processor. I say that lovingly, I say that with affiliation, it's a welcome to the club. In most workplaces, post-processing gets termed a weakness, when in fact, it is a matter of wiring. You get performance feedback that says you need to be quicker on your feet, more responsive in the moment. Maybe, you should take an improv class. Imagine that someone in performing arts might be able to help with that. And that's in contrast to real-time processors, who the more we talk something out in the moment, the more clear the idea gets. Now on a team, you might enjoy this. That's a really, shall we say, fun pairing. The real-time processor says, let's jump on a call. And the post-processor's like, no. And then the real-time processor, because the post-processor isn't saying anything yet, they continue to talk. Yes, you all know this. And then they fill the space, because the more they talk, the more clear it will get. And the post-processor's thinking, will you shut up and let me think? Or to put it in technical terms, I need to cache and compile. Right? I need to take all that data and let it process and come through, and then I will have a great idea. But I cannot do that with you yammering on. Okay, some of you are thinking about your spouses. Some of you are replaying conversations you had on campus last week. It's a difference of wiring. And the question is, are we designing in a way that captures not just the fastest and loudest ideas, but really all voices, as you've said, is the culture that you're building? To be clear, that doesn't mean we're putting a ban on 9 a.m. meetings, real-time meetings. But because we've planned ahead and we are designing for differences in wiring, whoever's owning the meeting might say, all right, here's where I think we're headed with this decision. Everyone go sleep on it. As you post-process, share whatever comes up by replying all on the email. And it does a couple of things. It normalizes post-processing, right? Everybody does it, go sleep on it. It's also why sometimes when you write a scathing email, you want to let it sit in drafts for a while instead of clicking send. Delay can be your friend, right? And you've also made clear the avenue for re-engaging the conversation. If I click out of that meeting, right, or I step out of that meeting, I've left the meeting, and I'm sitting there and I have the idea, I'm often thinking, oh, should I reply all? No, I don't want to clog everyone's inbox. I'll just reply to the VP. Wait, should I call them? Should I text them? Should I just put it in the doc? Right? All of those decision nodes are labor. That can be incredibly overwhelming, which then leads us to inaction, which leads us to silence, to not actually adding that thought. Versus you've normalized post-processing and you've made clear, all right, I'm gonna reply all to the invite to this email. Right? You have made it clear, made it easy, reduced any unintended barrier to someone re-engaging the conversation. All right, you know about me and my marriage apparently now. What about you? You've got these boxes in your program. Go ahead and tick off or check off whatever resonates for you. And there might be multiple, but when are you at your best? What process choices best supports your voice? Got time of day, communication medium, location, group size, processing style. External processors you want to process with someone. Internal processors are, let me sit there and think by myself, or maybe it comes to me in the shower while I'm singing, apparently. As you're ticking those off, I should also say, my assumption anytime I work with a group is that we're all adults here, and this time should serve you. So if you are actually better served by standing up, walking, pacing, stretching during this time, please do that. You can get a good workout running up and down these stairs. We'll all just watch in admiration. My only caveat to that is if you are best served by doing yoga poses and you incur bodily injury or harm in the process of doing that, I incur no liability, neither do the trustees. Can I get a legally binding head nod? Are we good? All right. So you've got an idea of what best supports you. Unfortunately or fortunately, you're not the only one in the mix. And so the question is, what process choices, these design choices, might best serve the meeting, the team, the task? And I invite you to do a design challenge by taking a standing meeting that you have, noticing what best serves you, and then noticing what best supports the other people who are part of that meeting. That's going to be your homework assignment from here, because this is one of the easiest tweaks, the most straightforward tweaks to make, and including okay, given what we know, what might we experiment with next? Is it moving that meeting? Is it actually canceling the meeting and making it a synchronous communication? Any questions? Last but not least, relationship. I see some of you starting to move. This is a good thing. Again, watch out for the headstands. Don't attempt them on the stairs. Word of caution. Question. Would you rather have oxytocin or cortisol at work? By the way, to just describe things and put a little color on, oxytocin, the love drug, right? Close to serotonin, highest in levels of women who have just given birth or are breastfeeding because there's a trust bonding effect. So would you like this happy chemical, or would you like cortisol, the stress hormone? You can articulate your vote for which one. Shout it out. Okay, does anyone see it differently? Cortisol, okay. Neither. Yeah, I want a flat baseline, a steady baseline. All right, so between the two, I'm going to assume there's a majority who prefer oxytocin as it comes. Remember that relationship that has a little bit more friction that you were trying to avoid by coming to work today? Okay, maybe you're now sitting next to them. I'm imagining that you would prefer oxytocin. Now, cortisol is not the devil. I want to be really clear, right? Having some cortisol is what allows us to focus. If anyone is more focused and does their best to work, the closer we get to the deadline. Okay, there's cortisol and adrenaline in action there. It can help us in moderation. Often what ends up happening, though, is that because we are trying to preserve the peace, because we're trying to preserve the relationship, because we care, where we have an initiative that talks about caring, because we care about the other person, we resort to silence because we don't want to offend them, because we don't want to hurt them. If silence is one option for dealing with that friction, which is basically inaction and usually makes things fester and makes things worse, then I want to offer an alternative, which is to inject more oxytocin into your working relationships, to build and protect the relationships so that you can have the difficult conversations. You can talk about the things where you see it differently, where you might have a different point of view. Now the question is, and that some of you might be wondering, is how do we get more oxytocin? For a long time, there's a nasal spray available on Amazon with lots of fine print. And I want to be really clear that, going into a performance review meeting and saying, hey, by the way, before we have this conversation, you want to use this nasal spray? Awkward, probably not ethical, very not legal. So I want to give you different ways of getting oxytocin in your working relationships. All right? You've got them on your program. For those of you who like cats and snuggling cats, I was trying to evoke that oxytocin. For those of you who are allergic to cats, I'm sorry. I want to introduce 6 core relational interests. The first 5 of these come out of a book called Beyond Reason, Using Emotions as You Negotiate by Roger Fisher, who is the godfather of negotiation theory, wrote Getting to Yes, and Daniel Shapiro, who is on faculty at Harvard Medical School and Harvard Law School. I'm going to do quick definitions, and then we're going to play with them, see what you think, all right? So the first is autonomy. Do I get to do what I want to do? Who here likes to be micromanaged? Raise your hand. Okay, usually there's like one person who says, I really appreciate clear direction. Wink, wink. Most of us don't like to be micromanaged because it infringes upon our autonomy. Right? We are grown adults, thinking, feeling human beings with pretty good common sense and expertise of our own. Now, by nature of the fact that we work in an organization, we don't always get to do what we want to do. That's why you get people saying, fine, I'll do it, but I'm not going to tell you it's a good idea. I at least get to preserve that little bit of autonomy, which is what I think. Autonomy is one. Second, am I appreciated? Am I valued? There are 3 different types of feedback that we all need: appreciation, coaching, and evaluation. Appreciation isn't just touchy-feely stuff. It is the green light that helps us know that what we're doing actually works. It helps us be seen and known. Do you feel appreciated? Now, if you're thinking and if you're honest with yourself about that person that you have a little bit more friction with, you might be thinking, yeah, but they've done nothing, Elaine. How am I supposed to appreciate them if they've done nothing that is worth appreciating? And that's good advice, because saying, hey, thanks so much for showing up and breathing today, draws out the lesson that appreciation needs to be genuine, right? But if you can't appreciate something that they've done or something that you know appreciate about them, might you appreciate how difficult an environment we're in? Right? How confusing a time, or how poignant the threats. Appreciate something. If you can appreciate it, it injects a little bit of oxytocin. Affiliation. Are we moving forward together? Is it we, the team, or is it you versus me? Is it we, College of Marin, staff, faculty, administrators, everyone here, or is it administrators versus faculty? Department versus we're all on the same team. Status. All right, who drove a car here? Great, so you know this dynamic. Let's say you're on Highway 101. Highly hypothetical. There's construction, as always. So there's the 2 lanes need to merge into one, right? One car goes in, the other car goes in, the other car goes in. It's about to be your turn, but the car in the other lane hugs the bumper car in front of you and cuts you off. By the way, it is a make and model you do not like. How you feeling? Do you have oxytocin or cortisol coursing through your veins? My colleague Stevenson likes to say, I show them they are number 1 with 1 finger. Am I being given the amount of deference I think I deserve? Right? If I have a PhD in this stuff, why are you questioning me? If it's my turn to go into the lane, why are you taking your turn? Now, the trap we fall into is believing that status is zero-sum. That somehow for you to shine because you're the VP in charge of finance means that I can't come here with my expertise in IT, for example. Right? That you can be the expert in the environment, and I can be the expert in how we're going to put together this room, nuts and bolts. That in valuing each other's lens, we can defer to one another where status is due. All right, and again, more oxytocin. Role, do I have a meaningful role? Am I here because College of Marin is the best place to study and learn, and that is part of what I am working toward day in and day out? Is my role here to literally change lives? Change the trajectory of someone else's life? Or is my role here just to be a cog in a wheel? To move papers around, or move files into different things, whatever the moving paper in electronic form is. It's really different when we have a meaningful role. All right, the first 5 of these are from Fisher and Shapiro. I believe that fairness belongs on the list, so as a matter of my autonomy, my session, my list, I've added fairness. Because any of you have young kids, interacted with young kids, you've heard that whiny tone? Yes? That's not fair. Now, I've tested this on several continents in several languages, and the language may be different, but the whiny tone is the same. Very scientific. My favorite research around this is with capuchin monkeys. Francis DeWall and Sarah Brosnan. Anyone familiar with this? Came out almost more than 20 years ago now. You can look it up on YouTube afterwards if you would like some a deeper dive. But basically you have, as researchers do, all these monkeys performing a task, like give the researcher a pebble. And when they complete the task, they get a slice of cucumber. All right, you got monkeys, do the task, get a slice of cucumber. Now, as with any group, there is one super high-performing monkey who completes the task more quickly than the others. So Sarah runs to the lab refrigerator. She looks, she can't find any cucumbers. She sees some grapes. She thinks, oh, that'll do, that'll be fine. She comes back. The one monkey does the exact same task as all of the other monkeys, and instead of a cucumber slice, gets a grape. All hell breaks loose in the lab. So when you look at the footage, they're rattling the cages. They have a monkey going up like this. They have pounding the table. And the one super high-performing monkey is loving it. He's just picking up the cucumber slices and eating them. Fairness matters. Same job title, seems like we've got different responsibilities. Disparities between campuses. Who's the favored child? Years of tenure. but different treatment in terms of status. Fairness matters, and the trick about fairness is that, as my mother likes to remind me, life's not fair, as well as it is in the eye of the beholder, but the question is, can we get to the point of unpacking, why does it not seem fair from where you sit? Because from where I sit, it seems like it might be okay. Right? Can we have that conversation rather than staying in our camps in silence? All right, I said this is a hypothesis, a test with you. We've got 6 core relational interests. I want you to test this in your own world. So remember that relationship with a little bit more friction than you wanted? I'm gonna ask you to do the analysis vis-a-vis that person and that dynamic. As you think about that person, which of these 6 relational interests would you say is unmet or likely at stake for them? You can go ahead and do a tally mark. You can go ahead and do a checkbox, whatever it is. We'll give you 10 seconds to do that. Okay, those of you who are like, what about me? I'm the one who's been wronged. We'll get to you, I promise. I hear you. Okay, with show of fingers, show me how many of these relational interests was unmet for them in your scenario. 2, 5, high five, 6, all 6, 4, 3, great, 3, 2, awesome, 4, fantastic. That's step number 1, right? That's the diagnosis. Most of the time when there's friction in the relationship, it's just, I'm trying to get you out of that moment and into something tactical to take an action step forward. The diagnosis is only step 1. Step 2 is, now you know which 2, 3, 4, 6 of these are unmet. What could you do or say to meet that interest for the other person? I'm going to give you 4 minutes to discuss with someone, whichever way you want to turn, and also if you're a post-processor who's an internal processor, just look down and avoid eye contact. Sometimes works. But I want you leaving here having done some work where you know you could go do something to express some appreciation to them, to build some affiliation, to say, hey, we're in this together. Maybe it's using the royal we, right? Can you do something to meet one or all of those relational interests because you are injecting oxytocin into the relationship, which then allows them to actually be able to hear you and allows you the possibility of moving forward. All right, you've got 4 minutes either with someone with you or to yourself, and then we'll talk about you. Go for it. All right. I promise. I'm going to pause you there. And again, I'm using that word pause intentionally. I'm going to pause you there because I promise some of you who flinched when I said, let's think about them, that we would also talk about you. So let's talk about you. Because if you are human, which at this point in time of knowing you, I'm inclined to believe that you are, if you are human, we also have a set of these relational interests, yes? And in a relationship with friction, the other person is not paying as much attention or tending to our relational interests, which is part of the problem. The clearest way that I have to describe this is actually with a story. So if you'll indulge me, who here has ever been part of a wedding? Okay, I heard the groan in the room as I said that, so I think you're gonna answer yes to my next question, but let me still ask it. I have a theory that weddings bring out all sorts of crazy and all sorts of people. Is that your experience too? Okay, some of you are in the middle of wedding planning, maybe for your daughter or son, or I promise this is not an intervention. They did not send me here today. Let me ask another question. If you're in North America and you are the only sister of the groom, might you be asked to be part of the bridal party? Yes, okay. So, my brother got married quite a while ago. I promise I'm not still bitter about this. I'm also a high believer that we all have really high BS detectors. So if as I'm telling the story, yours goes off, feel free to let me know. So he got married. I was not asked to be I was not asked to be a bridesmaid. That's fine. No, for real, right? Like you don't have to buy the dress that you're never gonna wear again. It's much better on the pocketbook. I was living in Boston at the time. They were here in the San Francisco Bay Area. Then they realized that, I mentioned part of my background is in music. So for other friends' weddings, I have written songs for them or set text or a poem to music. It's been this special gift. So my mom suggests this to my brother. He says, let me talk to my fiance. They talk about it. He comes back and he's like, thanks, but no thanks. We want the ceremony to be short. We don't want any fluff in it. Fine. Yeah. I love the back of the room. Thank you. Heckle me. Then they realize that they need some background music while they're lighting the unity candle. So they ask if I will sing and this other woman will play piano. The way that we are asked is via email. And thank you for taking offense to that. I took some too. My now sister-in-law writes this email and she makes the observation, wow, both of you are named Elaine. Let's call you E1 and E2. Guess which one I was? So that's fine. So I mentioned I lived in Boston. 3,000 miles helps a lot, right? Distance, boundaries. Doesn't always make the heart grow fonder. So I land at SFO, and the thing about being in conflict management and communication is that your family stores up all their problems for you, and when you land, they say, go fix them. Apparently, some of your families do this to you too. My mom's in tears because it's her firstborn getting married. They haven't involved her in the wedding planning, so affiliation is hit for her. We haven't even talked about grandma walking down the aisle, and anyways. So then we go we're at the back of the chapel at the wedding rehearsal. E1 and I are practicing. And she turns to me and says, so you're gonna sit here and turn pages for me during the ceremony, right? And I was doing all the things that I think many of us do, the self-talk. Just be the bigger person. It's their day. You live 3,000 miles away, right? You will see them once a year for the holidays. And none of that worked. I was pissed, right? Not to mention that I cleaned her toilet anyways. Not bitter. But I had a really nerdy moment. When you think about this list and the situation I've just described, which of these relational interests were unmet for me in that moment? Shout them out. All of them, thank you. You all are smart and quick. All of them. So my nerdy moment, I kid you not, is I picked up my smartphone, emailed a couple of colleagues, and said, I'm at my brother's wedding rehearsal. I'm annoyed and frustrated because every single one of my core relational interests is unmet. Hashtag this stuff actually works. Don't judge me. But in that realization, I was able to turn to E1 and say, you know what, I'd like to sit with my family during the ceremony. Let's find someone else to turn pages for you. And thank you. And E1 didn't care. E1 just wanted someone to turn pages. Now, to be clear, I don't want to be, and I think this is true in community colleges, because we're here to serve, right? I don't want to be the person who cares about status. I want to be humble, and I am here to serve. I want to be servant-minded. But I do care about sitting with my family. He's my only brother. We've been good friends, share the same friend group, right? Our entire lives. It does matter to me. So instead of silencing my own emotions, to acknowledge that we as human beings have emotions, one way of getting to the positive emotions and more oxytocin is when these are met. And that is true not just for the stakeholders in the room and the people around us, but for ourselves as well. Which of these might be unmet for you or at risk for you right now in your scenario? I'm going to invite you to take stock for yourself because you matter too. So in the same way that you did for the other person, go ahead and tick through which of these are unmet or at risk for you right now. I'm going to take 15 seconds now and hold the awkward silence to give you time to do that. Because you know the next question after that, which is what could you do or say to meet that interest? What could you say to E1, your E1, right, to get you some more autonomy or build the affiliation or some appreciation? Because that's going to allow you to continue showing up day in and day out, especially in this environment. I'm conscious that I need to let you go soon. So I just want to highlight where we've been. Number one, notice your relationship with silence. Salty food or escalators? Are you going to say something or are you not? Where does it creep up? Where, if the silence and the habits you've built don't serve who you are and who you want to be or what you're building, what might you unlearn? What might you try differently? Can you own your lens from where you sit? Because you are going to see it differently. And that is not only okay, that is the power that we harness to bring this vision for Calm alive. Design process. Change that meeting if you need to. Email, text, whatever it is that best supports your voice and the voices of the people that you want to hear. And last but not least, tend to relational interests. I know that I need to pass you back in a minute, and I will leave you with a QR code here for a free monthly newsletter. Tips from me on how to continue to cultivate and build that culture of voice. And we have copies of the book outside for you. I've already overshared about my family, so I'm going to keep going. Okay? In honor of Steve, which might feel like a weird segue. My mom never knew how to swim. So when she was 59, turning 60, she decided once and for all, I'm going to learn how to swim. The way that she learned how to swim was not with a coach, but with YouTube. There are all these videos on YouTube about how to swim. So she apparently, again, I was living in Boston, she would be on the bed, belly down, added the feet, and then she upped her game and went to the local Y. And I'd get a text saying, I swam a quarter of a lap. Happy face emoji. Good job, Mom. A couple more months would pass. I swam half a lap, and I only swallowed a gallon of water. Yay! A couple more months. I swam 3/4 of a lap, and I took a breath. Now my mother swims 40 lengths of the pool per day. To be clear, she would also stop people in the other lanes while they were swimming during open swim. If you know anything about open swim at the Y, this is not good etiquette. So if you ran into an Asian woman a while back at the Y who stopped you, I'm sorry, that was my mother. she would stop and ask other people for advice. Right? How did you do that? How do you not get water in your ear? You all are each other's lanes. Tap each other, ask for advice. Continue to swim and practice using your voice because we need you to build COM into the next 100 years for that amazing place to study, to work, to grow, and for this community. Thank you.
Alrighty, thank you so much, Elaine. My name is Alyssa Graff. I'm the Classified Professional Development Coordinator, pronouns she, hers. And just a couple announcements for you. We have two options after this. We have the breakout session that's happening in PA 72 downstairs. We also have an engagement fair outside. Don't worry, go to the breakout session with Elaine. The stuff will all still be there when you get out of your breakout session. So really, I encourage you to go and keep that conversation going with Elaine, as well as her books are outside. Make sure to grab one and read it. It's amazing. I already started reading it, so it's great. And then one of our save the dates is we have Classified Professional Learning Day that's coming up on September 24th at IVC. You'll see more information coming out about that.
Yeah, just want to remind everybody to make sure you sign in so you get credit for Convocation. And thank you again to Elaine for speaking today. I'm a lot cooler than a YouTube video for swimming, just for the record. So thank you, everybody.